Basi. Kweli. Thank you. I think we were to do the national anthem. I'm advised. If they are ready, if they are not, we get on. Thank you.
Basi naomba zote tusimame ili tupate wimbo wa taifa. Wapi makofi mazuri.
Ndugu wenzangu, viongozi wa wanachama tofauti katika nchi yetu, ndugu Raila Amolo Odinga wa ODM, ndugu Gideon Moi wa KANU, ndugu Wycliffe Musalia Mudavadi ANC, ndugu Cyrus Jirongo United Party, ndugu Eta Ford Kenya. I don't know whether our sister mother managed to come on behalf of the Mount Kenya Unity Forum na wengine viongozi, ndugu viongozi wa makanisa mbalimbali, and we are so grateful to God that you actually honored our invitation. I want to ask that the clergy, please, including the senior ones, stand yet again in recognition of God's grace and wonderful mercies today. We need to give them a big clap. Their presence here does debunk a myth that the church can be compromised. We thank God for each one of you. Tafadhalini muketi. I would also want to take this time on my own behalf and on behalf of my family to thank you, because I know a lot of you have been praying for my wife, Pauline. Pauline, as you know, has been indisposed, but I know that a miracle is around the corner. A lot of you have been praying with us, and that's why today I'm joined by two young men, members of my clan. On the left and the right was Kevin. They seem to have quickly disappeared from the scene. Kevin Mwasia. Kevin is our second born after Kennedy, who is attending a session in Arusha, as a member of Yala. And then Klein Mairo. We are named after the same man. My grandfather was a great fan of mine, so I decided to name our third born after him. So we are named after the same person. Klein, thank you. And Damari, last born, is out in the UK. I should have loved to be here. But above all, their mother, Pauline, is watching. And I want you to know, Pauline, you are very well represented. And God is with us. Kwa hivyo, now you can sit. Ndugu mwenyekiti Balozi Ali Chirao. and fellow delegates of Wiper Democratic Movement. Naomba ni washukuru sana, lakini kabla hayo ni kumshukuru Mwenyezi Mungu kwa wema wake. For this far, He has truly brought us. Wow, what a show. I think we need to clap for each one of you. I also want to thank our international friends who have come and members from the diplomatic corps who have also been. Your me accept the recognition as a candidate for the presidency of the Republic of Kenya in August, indeed August the 9th, 2022 general election. I'm very proud of my party. Very proud to be a party leader of this party, which has now come of age, the Wiper Democratic Movement. This afternoon, you have shown every Kenyan a party that is at heart Kenyan in spirit and truth. You have demonstrated the values and ethos of collective responsibility and inclusivity and of our party, our affairs. Our party surely lives and breathes the words of our national anthem, service be our earnest endeavor. Fellow countrymen, as president, and here I go, I will unify this country. And I mean unify this country. My life, my strength, and service has always been dedicated towards ensuring that we have a better tomorrow than today by uniting our people with a spirit of undugu. You all know I call my brothers, let us build this our nation together. Divided, we lose our great potential in growing Kenya to be an economic hub in East and Central Africa and a beacon of hope for many around the world that look up to this wonderful nation for leadership. As a people, we must be ready to defend the heart and the soul of this nation, guided by the rule of law. Every Kenyan has a right to freedom of movement and expression within the confines of our Constitution. No citizen should have their rights abused by law enforcement agencies that seek to take power into their own hands. Rest assured that a Kalonzo presidency will enable people to freely thrive and prosper and be proud to be Kenyan. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow citizens, today, more Kenyans are going hungry. With hardly anything to eat, many Kenyans struggle to barely earn 200 shillings a day to feed themselves and their families. The unemployment rate has peaked at one of the highest points, beyond 6.6%. In fact, sometimes I believe it is not even quantifiable to talk about unemployment in our country. Theft of public funds and corruption has become the order of the day. It pains my heart, ladies and gentlemen, sincerely, to see Kenya in this sad state of affairs. Our nation is impoverished because of extremely burdensome debts triggered by overzealous corruption, the likes of which we have never seen before. As a result, our youth have lost confidence in their government and hope in the future. Thieves, I repeat, thieves are brazenly running around the country, masquerading as saviors, while crucifying our children's future at the altar of corruption. Fellow Kenyans, when I was vice president, I said I would do a bit of chest thumping today, and please forgive me. When I was vice president under President Mwai Kibaki, the nation underwent a period of tremendous growth and transformation. Jobs were created at an unprecedented rate with accompanying levels of record economic growth. Indeed, those were the days when there was plenty within our borders. Our Vision 2030 was inspired by the successful implementation of the Economic Recovery Plan for Employment and Wealth Creation, which formed the economic blueprint of the National Rainbow Coalition NAC government. This was when we transformed a paltry 1% growth rate in 2002 to an impressive 7% growth rate within just 5 years. It was, ladies and gentlemen, during this period that our government initiated the free compulsory primary education program, and every child was afforded the opportunity to learn, the opportunity to go to school. This program was acclaimed worldwide for its forward-thinking vision of inclusivity. Remember Mzee Marube, at 84, he went to primary 1. Now, exactly 20 years later, we are again at a momentous time. We are at a momentous time. And indeed, at a crossroads. We therefore have this unique opportunity to retrace our path to prosperity with a leadership that we can believe in, and a clergy that we can trust, and a police service that is really committed to serve diligently. A Kenya that is finally ready for an economic and political takeoff. Hakika, tutaweza. Ladies and gentlemen, today we must go a step further. When I'm president, we will implement fully free secondary education, thereby easing the burden of school fees on struggling parents who cannot make their ends meet. Achieving Vision 2030 will make one of our proudest moments as Kenyans. As your president, ladies and gentlemen, I pledge to restore faith in government on all its institutions. I stand here today to affirm that I will not rest until all the corrupt are in jail and their ill-gotten loot is back in our coffers. As a president who seeks to serve his people, I will work for you, not you working for me. Believe me when I tell you, and I emphasize, having been fully tried and tested regarding corruption, that in a Kalonzo government there will be no room for corruption and the thieves will have no place to hide. They surely will try to run. Friends, whilst we face many challenges, not all hope is lost. Our country is at a crossroads, and a wrong decision at the ballot will deny our future generations peace and prosperity. Beware of politicians who give cash and empty promises, for there is no such thing as free money. How many times have you been promised stadia, free laptops, sufficient water, even in the villages? In fact, some of them go to the extent of promising you showers in the grass-thatched houses. And how many times have you been promised? Instead, you have been robbed blind of your taxes by accomplished thieves. And now, you are deceived into believing a falsely painted way out, anchored on lies and theft. Kenyans, you must be very careful and entrust this nation to a proven clean leadership. Throughout my career as a public servant, I've been privileged to work in various capacities. My experience spans over 35 years from when I was first elected as MP for Kitui North. In 1985, at the tender age of 33, I'm sure you have seen that in the documentary, I became Deputy Speaker, and as they say, the rest is history. And also served faithfully under the leaderships of late President Mzee Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi, and as a minister in several decades. But a lot of Kenyans remember foreign affairs. They forget I was in environment, and I was also in education, and I actually was even in tourism and information. Under leadership of Mzee Kibaki, with whom, of course, I served diligently. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, I can confidently stand here before you today, having been tried and tested, pressed down, and oozing with experience. Does that sound biblical, ladies and gentlemen? I do hope that we can actually propel this country to greater heights. Fellow countrymen, allow me therefore to project my proposition for the future to you. As a Wiper Democratic Movement leader, let me speak about sustainable economic models that everyone can relate to. We have practical plans to restore our economy to greater levels than was witnessed under the leadership of President Mwai Kibaki and myself. Over 8 years ago, we almost achieved double-digit growth with Vision 2030, with the year 2010 marking a high point of GDP growth of 8.4%. I'm sure Prime Minister Raila Odinga will agree with me. Vision 2030 envisages that a 24-hour economy will constitute a main pillar to propel economic growth. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, our 24-hour economy model is in line with our Vision 2030. A 24-hour plan with 3 shifts of 8 hours each is an additional 16 hours to our conventional working day. This will definitely create millions of jobs for unemployed, and people will be able to feed their families and put food on the table. Investments in amenities such as transport, infrastructure, energy, security, and water service provision will be direct beneficiaries of the 24-hour economic model, leading up to productivity growth due to lower cost of production. More importantly, a 24-hour economy will empower a greater number of Kenyans with enhanced purchasing power that will raise consumption, given that they will now earn weekly or bi-weekly salaries in addition to the current monthly pay. Money circulation is everything. Circulation of the currency will inevitably grow, thereby expanding the financial markets. Fellow Kenyans, for us to become a middle-income nation with the realization of our Vision 2030, we must engage our partners abroad through financial concessions and loans. We will therefore build on President Uhuru's legacy of road and rail investments and apply strict operating guidelines on project funds management. Indeed, a shining example of a PPP, what is commonly referred to as private-public partnership, is in the ongoing Nairobi Expressway, where work has been operating on a 24-hour shift basis. This is why it is moving as fast as we can all see. That is therefore an appropriate model. The president has managed to drive the nation forward, regardless of political machinations ongoing around him. There are great examples around the world where hashtag 24-hour economy model has been successfully implemented. The United Kingdom capital, London, employs almost 1 million people under this plan, earning the city over £70 billion annually. Australia's city of Sydney, on a 24-hour economic model, employs over 200,000 people with $30 billion injected into the local economy. Ladies and gentlemen, believe me when I tell you that when we implement the 24-hour economy in Kenya, we will grow our economy to similar levels. Our cities of Nairobi, Mombasa, Kisumu, and Nakuru, and I also saw recently a very perfect example is actually Naivasha, where we were with my colleague principals, Oka principals, and we saw the dwindling flower economy. And a 24-hour economy, Naivasha will become a shining example of tremendous growth. So this, kusema kweli, hakika tutaweza. Fellow Kenyans, allow me to address the issue of high taxation, public debt, mismanagement, and finally, the dragon of corruption, which must be slain. The World Bank recommends that governments balance goals such as increased revenue mobilization, growth, and reduced compliance costs with ensuring that the tax system is fair and equitable. Prudent economic management does not call for higher taxation as a tool for economic growth or as a means to solve public debt repayment. Yet, for the past 9 years, Kenyans have faced the annual budget day with fear and trepidation because they fear the tax burden will be heavier due to what, of course, one can be excused for calling insatiable greed and unfettered public debt. We all know that our tax regime is regimented, over-duplicated, and not equitable. Higher taxation has translated to less disposable income in our pockets and made our country less attractive to foreign domestic investors. This triple retrogressive tax structure has eaten into our present and also threatens our future prosperity. One of the first acts of government that I will implement will be to reduce tax levels across the board and widen the tax bracket. Punitive taxes discourage work and investment. We cannot, ladies and gentlemen, expect to grow the economy by taxing an already overburdened population. There is an ongoing devolution conference in Wote, and this is tremendous. If only devolution does not amount to devolving corruption. I want to stop at that. With similar zeal, my administration will go through every public debt, letter by letter, word for word, line by line, with the intention of renegotiating all public debt instruments signed on your behalf. More importantly, we will decisively and aggressively pursue all the corrupt with the same zeal with which they emptied our coffers. We will get back what is rightfully yours. Hakika, tutaweza. We will use all your recovered stolen wealth to rebuild our nation, to inspire development, and allow opportunities for all Kenyans in every sphere of life. Public debt will be a matter of the past. Huge taxation levels to cover up retrogressive practices will be an occurrence of the past. Rampant corruption, my fellow Kenyans, will be a phenomenon of the past. We have sometimes suggested a tax reduction level at 50%. We will, of course, work with the experts to see that, but you can see the commitment with which you are addressing this matter of taxation. Because Kenyans are the most overtaxed people in the world. You are paying rags, munalipa zingine kwa market, on market days, gavana anataka zake, ukivuka mpaka kutoka Garissa kuja Mwingi Kitui, unalipa pale. Ukitaka Kitui County kuingia Machakos County, unalipa ya county pale. Ukitoka pale kuingia Kiambu pale upande wa Golipa, unalipa county ya Kiambu. Ukiingia Nairobi unalipa. Kenyans are amazing. You are overburdened with taxation. We are going to do something about it. The standard of living shall be fair and affordable for every Kenyan. Ndugu zangu, hakika tutaweza. Now, fellow delegates, I stand before you this afternoon as an example of what access to education truly means. Indeed, I know I'm not alone in this historic auditorium when it comes to having had the fortune to be educated at the university level, perhaps at the postgraduate level, and to be still talking about basic access to education, primary and secondary for all. 2 decades since I could call myself a part of the youth should not be part of our present day conversation. Let me be very clear for the avoidance of doubt. Free and compulsory secondary education will be a hallmark of my administration. There is actually no free tuition if parents too have to pay uniforms, books, meals, name it. You can even tabulate. Free secondary school education is not free if parents have to subsidize administrative and development costs. My administration will determinedly ensure that parents will be relieved of the responsibility of educating their children through their school years. Hakika na hakikisheni, hakika tutaweza. Our fellow Kenyans, I will further seek to reform the current structure of the Higher Education Loans Board to allow students to access grants once more. We will also free the access to internet by the provision of free data. Under my administration, there will be inclusivity. Living standards for students will improve considerably. Back to the golden days of boom. Remember? Boom. No more paying for textbooks and no more cooking in bedrooms, because this is not keeping with university standards. Because the mess hall is poorly staffed and offers even low quality food. Comrades shall eat, study, and live in decent conditions. Hakika tutaweza. Fellow delegates, finally, allow me to discuss the backbone of our economy, which is the agricultural sector. With its contribution of 26% to our GDP and the engagement of the bulk of our population, 65% of whom reside in the rural areas, the vital significance of this sector cannot be underscored. That is why we call it green gold. Furthermore, the African Development Bank, ADB, in its recent projections for the African continent, has even highlighted agriculture as being the engine of growth for the wealth of this continent, where the billionaires of the future will come from agriculture. Inextricably linked with other parts of our economic cycle, a systemic and focused approach on agriculture will have far-reaching, impactful returns on our local economy and export growth, leading to higher foreign exchange reserves. This will realize a double benefit by servicing our debt repayments within the growth, with the growth of course, our foreign exchange revenue regime. When I was Vice President to President Kibaki, forgive me, I said today I was chest thumb. President Kibaki and I envisaged, joined by Prime Minister Raila at that time as the first grand coalition government in Africa, we envisaged that Vision 2030, through the Sustainable Development Goals, will boost industrialization by promoting our agriculture and value addition of our agri-produce. While Minister for Environment, I attended the Climate Change Conference commonly known as the Conference of Parties, COP10 in Buenos Aires. The world now remembers the Glasgow COP 2016. I then made a case successfully to host COP12 in Nairobi, which we held in November 2006, to great acclaim. Implementation of the Kyoto Protocol and further capacity building under the Global Environmental Facility were some of the key achievements of Nairobi, further to be amplified and worked on, the result of which was the Paris Agreement. And now Glasgow has come on board with tremendous commitments. We have only one Earth, Mother Earth, to protect. And if you look at for instance, the level of pollution of the Nairobi River, the pollution of the river, our people are drinking poison every day. My friends, under Kalonzo Musyoka presidency, we will clean our rivers and make it clean, give our people clean drinking water. Again on agriculture, the example of Embu and Kirinyaga counties comes to mind. They are renowned in East and Central Africa for being the largest producer for macadamia. This is the most lucrative cash crop after tea, and it has the potential to turn even an ordinary chicken farmer to a genuine tax-paying agri-millionaire. Hakika tutaweza. We must therefore exploit this untapped potential for value addition for not just the macadamia market, but for all our cash crops, and boost this nation's economy. This is why we say one county, one factory. Hakika tutaweza. Now you ask, how will this vision be realized? Allow me to explain. President Uhuru Kenyatta is on record stating that Kenya loses 2 billion shillings a day to theft and corruption. This translates to 6 to 60 billion monthly and 720 billion shillings per year. These are funds that can immensely transform our lives if put to their intended use. In addition, by pinpointing problem solving and prudent public management, we will eliminate costly and unnecessary programs which are solely designed to eat from you. We will keep what works and let go of that which doesn't. Na hakika tutaweza. Moreover, Kenya has vast untapped mineral resources, which include gold and copper, and until recently, even coal in the Mui Basin. But after the Glasgow conference, it becomes doubtful whether we should go full into exploitation of that amazing industry, which is what actually brought the Industrial Revolution. Because coal, properly used, was able to turn Europe into what it is in the Americas. Now we'll have to contend with copper and gold that will now be effectively utilized with value addition initiated at all levels. We envisage the wholesome involvement of artisanal miners, and government structures and policies will be introduced to streamline this sector. The returns here have the potential to wipe out our external debt. Our women are a significant pillar in nation building. Therefore, the socio-economic empowerment of women will be a core pillar of my development agenda. Through access to interest-free credit and other various initiatives. Fellow delegates, we have work to do. I tell you, we have a lot of work to do to be able to free ourselves from economic, and now ahead of elections in August, what is turning out to be political tyranny. To this end, I believe firmly in the vision of the One Kenya Alliance. And I really want to congratulate and really encourage my brothers and sisters in the One Kenya Alliance, because I see the future of this country is in one Kenya, one people, united in strength and purpose, striding forward confidently towards our vision for a prosperous and progressive Kenya. Today, We will boldly and courageously plant the seeds for our present and our future. Hakika tutaweza. This is more. This is more than a campaign, a political campaign. I mean, this is really more than a political campaign. This is a step change towards charting a new and a better future for Kenya with a visionary path to walk. We must embark bravely, ladies and gentlemen, towards sovereignty and in fact towards decency as a people. How would you want me to live? Instead of moving digitally forward, you want me to embrace wheelbarrow economics? Ladies and gentlemen, we have better minds than that. We must work towards productivity and prosperity. We must be united as a country, for how blessed we shall be when we walk together and in unity and purpose. Rest assured, ladies and gentlemen, hakika tutaweza. Thank you, and may God bless you. May God bless Kenya. And thank you for honoring us. God bless you.
Twende.
Hakika.
Wakamba kwa sana Kalonzo, tunataka Kalonzo. Sendo kwa sana Kalonzo, tunataka Kalonzo.
Wapi vigelegele?
Wani wanasema isi wetu watano ni Kalonzo. Masauti isiolo Kalonzo, tunataka Kalonzo. Nairobi twasema Kalonzo, tunataka Kalonzo. Tedo isinya
Tumshangilie His Excellency Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka.
tunataka Kalonzo. Tunataka Kisumu Kalonzo, tunataka Kalonzo. Wale Profesa Kaloki, sapota mkubwa wa Patricia. Pamoja na Honorable Gideon Muyuri. Tsunami. Kalonzo, tunataka Kalonzo.
Wapi shamba na vigelegele?
Isi wetu watano ni Kalonzo. Wamama waimba. Isi wetu watano ni Kalonzo. Boda wasema Kalonzo, tunataka Kalonzo.